Welcome to Heroes and Droids, your guide to movies and TV shows about superheroes, sci-fi, Disney in action. Yes, from Marvel to DC, from Star Wars to Star Trek, from James Bond to the Fast and the Furious. We review theatrical films and streaming delights you care about most. And we are headed back to the DCEU on HBOMax with Peacemaker. Yes, maybe one of the funniest damn shows ever. It's definitely of 2022. That's an easy. All right.
Not much competition there, Doc.
No, not yet. All right. I'm your host, Doc Cotton, and joining me tonight are the crew, starting off with the SLATTMAN, Christopher Slattery. How you doing, sir? Hey, that's me. There he is. Yeah, do the dance.
Same gene pool, different name.
Stop.
That's how I'm doing. I'm dancing all night long.
Yes. Okay, yeah, we should go ahead and just throw it out there. This just show has the best opening credits of any show since Gilligan's Island. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's better than Gilligan's Island.
I don't know. Gilligan's Island's got a special place.
Gilligan's Island's sunken next to this.
James fighting with me. All right. Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore. How you doing, sir?
Do you want to taste it?
Oh my God! All right, we'll see ya. All right. Also joining us is comic artist and decades of horror co-host Jed Hunt. You're not going to dance, sir.
Oh my God! Okay, I'll do a little bit of that. How's that?
Oh, we're in a lot of trouble, folks.
You do
All
Peacemaker's dad dance,
or you could.
I can't. I'm not that good in the pelvic thrust department.
Or you could just be like the janitor and just mop your way across the floor in rhythm.
He does do a flip towards the end. So.
Oh, he does. I thought it was another guy that does.
I thought that was
Well, he does like a spin, almost like a spin thing. So it's
yeah,
because Vigilante.
Well, props for him. I'll have to watch it again.
I've watched it a million times. So.
All right, what we're doing is we're gonna review Peacemaker episodes 1 through 3 because they all dropped on the same night. So we're just gonna dive in feet first into all 3 episodes. We're gonna give our first impressions of all 3 together, and that will be spoiler free as best as we possibly can. It's going to be difficult, but we're gonna give it a shot. And then we're going to dive into a discussion. Of course, we're going to get into spoilers. We might even have some Easter eggs. There's plenty going on here, and there's probably a lot of foul language for any of you young tykes watching. Don't watch this. Go watch the the Boba Fett episodes we're doing. This is far more mature.
18 plus.
Yes.
Please watch it, but have your parents put earmuffs.
Oh my God, yes.
Earmuffs on.
Cover your eyes.
Then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene or scenes. We'll figure that out when we get there. This might be a little extra long episode, but it's going to be worth it because we're going to talk about the show of 2022. Yeah, I'm giving something away. Thus far, yes. All right.
There's a lot of competition that it has.
True.
Not yet. All right. Here's the card. Peacemaker on HBOMax. It should be 2022. I told you there was going to be something wrong. Season 1, episode 1, A Whole New Whirled. Episode 2, Best Friends for Never. Episode 3, Better Golf Dead. Of course, it is streaming on HBOMax January 13th, 2022. Written and directed by James Gunn. Golf clap for that. The cast includes, but is not limited to, John Cena, Daniel Brooks, Freddie Stroma, Chabudi Iwuji. That's not right, but we're going with it. Jennifer Holland, Steve Agee, Robert Patrick, another golf clap. And is that not Lee?
Yeah, let's go with that.
I'm going to go with it too. All right, the synopsis is, after making a miraculous recovery, Peacemaker returns home only to discover that his freedom comes at a price. Then, after Peacemaker's hazardous escape, tension and mistrust build within the team. Later, as Peacemaker grapples with his new assignment, he receives a surprise visitor that he does. Then, on their first official mission to assassinate suspected butterflies, Economos and Myrn bond, and Peacemaker and Harcourt reach an understanding. But the whole job goes sideways with the arrival of Judo Master.
Oh my God.
Hi, it's me. I'm Filmmaker.
All right.
I'm the great value version of Peacemaker.
You must keep that on, and you're starting us off. Give us your first impression of Peacemaker. Episodes 1 through 3. Oh my God, that is the perfect.
I know this is why I'm single right here.
How long did you spend doing that? Was that?
Please don't ask that.
Not very long. If you couldn't tell, not very long. I can't even look at myself. I loved the first 3 episodes. I'll say a little bit of the first episode, I was a little bit kind of wondering, because I think any first episode, you're sort of like, you're introduced to certain characters and it can be very expositional.
Mhm.
But I think once we got into it, got to know the characters, it just got better and better. And this show does not hold back. This is pure James Gunn.
Oh my God, yes.
This is not like Marvel James Gunn. This is like full on James Gunn having lots of fun, not holding back on like the F-bombs or language or sex. There's stuff in here that's very shocking. I never thought I would see in any kind of comic book representation. There's pictures of genitalia. There's all kinds of a person singing with a dildo. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. There's a fleshlight that pops up in here, and I'm like, whoa, I was not expecting this any kind of superhero.
Spoilers
show.
for certain people.
Oh, well, I don't think that might be. Yeah, I don't know if it's really a spoiler. You'll just look for it, like, oh my God, because it's not even part of the plot. But yeah, I don't know. I had a blast with this show. I laughed out loud at a lot of the lines. I think more than anything, they've taken a character that was more of a joke character, I think, in the Suicide Squad. It wasn't really like it was more of a tropish type character, and actually fleshed him out and made him fleshlighted him out and made him and made him a more interesting character with different layers. I mean, his dad's racist and sexist and an asshole. I mean, there's like, it doesn't hold back on seeing the ugly parts of it, but there's still humor and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I'm loving the shit out of it. And yeah, that intro is one of the best intros in TV history. I don't know how much time I've watched it. I just started listening to a lot of music. I think the music throughout this is
so good,
slamming.
So good.
I actually found a playlist on Apple Music or whatever, and now I've listened to the Wigwam's new album. They're the ones that did the song for the intro, and I'm a huge fan of like pop metal in general. So this is right up my alley, to where I was like, "Ooh, I've never heard of this band. I want to listen to this song." Or like they play the Firehouse song, which I remember from back in the day, which supposedly is one of James Gunn's favorite pop metal songs. But anyway, yeah, I love the hell out of this. It's the reason I made an aluminum helmet for my head. I don't know. I just you can see they're having a lot of fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I can't wait to see what happens, as the season goes along.
Thank you, sweet cheeks. All right, I'm going to throw things out the window here, and I'm going to go next. I think I gave it away earlier. I think this is absolutely one of the best shows of the year, and we're 3 weeks in. I love this show. It absolutely hit my funny bone at the right place. It actually has a little bit of heart to it. It redeems a character that was kind of maybe goofy to bad in the movie, right? I mean, it was interesting, but this is he's actually grown in 3 episodes. And Robert Patrick, yes, so funny. Yeah, there's so much going on in here, and the dialogue is so witty. The effects are out of the world. Like the sonic boom. We'll get to it. Oh my God. Like I said, it's raunchy, it's dirty, it's hilarious, it's touching. The characters are cool and funny, and I love it. I absolutely Love it. But let's continue on. Chad Hunter, what was your first impression of Peacemaker?
I didn't know what to really. I know I'm a fan of James Gunn, but I really didn't know what to expect with this being on HBO and all that. And holy crap! Holy crap! It was yeah, like Christopher said earlier. This is pure James Gunn, and this is James Gunn at his most gonzo, I think.
It is true gonzo, yes.
Yeah, and if you're familiar with some of his other movies, he goes to some pretty crazy places, but this is just fantastic. I mean, you take a character that's so far down the ladder on as far as popularity. Who's ever heard of Peacemaker? You know, except a few comic guys, but he made that character, or he's making that character, or somebody you really care about, and even the people around are just fantastic. The whole team. I love the way this team is starting to kind of come together. When they were first argumentative and fighting each other at the beginning, but they're kind of coming together a little bit now. The special effects are absolutely crazy. The explosions, the creatures. There's creatures. So
there's creatures. Surprise.
There's creatures. Yeah, but but yeah, I was very, very amazed. This isn't your parents' superhero show. This isn't Batman 66. It looks like Batman 66 with the Peacemaker costume, but
yeah,
but it's
not a costume, it's a uniform.
Yeah, and there's no yeah, whatever it is, it looks like a costume. Yeah, you're gonna see probably some of your favorite heroes get just run through the gutter and
run through the gutters, right?
some bad things said about them. And that's what I love about it. It's just so irreverent, and it doesn't care. It doesn't care if it offends you. It doesn't care. All it wants to do is make you laugh and care about these characters, and that's I'm on board big time.
Yeah, you can't be sensitive about Aquaman and watch a show. That's
no, or Batman, yeah,
or Batman for that matter. But Aquaman, I think it's the worst of it. SLATTMAN, sir, what was your first impression of Peacemaker? Episodes 1 through 3.
So real quick, it's a shame, Christopher, that you don't have Spotify, because James Gunn actually has a Spotify playlist, a public Spotify playlist that he made, that he is going to be updating with music that inspired the music in the show, including the music in the show every week as new episodes come out. So,
well, I didn't want to deal with the ads, so
yeah,
I found somebody who created us by a playlist based on that.
Yeah, but everyone who loves the music in this show, go check out, and if you have Spotify, check out James Gunn's playlist, because it's awesome. Other fun fact, apparently James Gunn wrote this in 8 weeks at the beginning of COVID just because he was bored.
Yeah.
So if this is what he writes would be just because he's bored, like, I wish he was bored all the time when he wrote, because this is an amazing first start. It has a couple rocky moments, especially at the beginning, and I feel like episode 2 has a couple more hiccups, moments that, I don't know, kind of dragged on a little too long for me, but or were a little too over the top, I guess, and just kind of made me roll my eyes. But by episode 3, episode 3 is phenomenal. Episode 1 and 2 are a lot of setup and have a lot of really great moments in them. But episode 3 just blows the whole thing out of the water, and just all the important characters are introduced. All the important plot beats are introduced. Let's just go buck wild, and oh boy, do they go buck wild. The writing is so clever. The story is setting up to be a classic DC story, you know, one of those zany, wild, classic DC stories that you love, you know, one of the, like, you know, kind of like the Suicide Squad. It's
Roger
all,
Starfish was
yeah.
a giant starfish. Guess what?
That realization. James Gunn is not. James Gunn is very clever. Let's put it that way.
Very clever.
And so I want to address the elephant in the room. A lot of people on the internet don't like the humor in this.
Oh, they're crazy.
And
They're crazy.
I can see why. But luckily I don't hate I love the humor, and I was laughing out loud like multiple times every episode. And there are some shows that are like primarily comedies that can't get me to do that once an episode sometimes. So, and this is supposed to be an action show, not a comedy. Like that's what
it's a comedy.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I know. It's supposed to be a superhero action story, but
yeah, but that's what's great about it. And the cast is just the music is great. The cast is phenomenal. I love the returning cast from the Suicide Squad, and I love the connections because we already have some. If you've seen that movie, you already have some connection with some of these characters, and they continue to be great like they were in that. At least, you know, from the few moments that we got with them. And I love seeing them fleshed out, and I love their interactions. I'm really enjoying it. It's a really strong start. Really strong start. After a first couple of episodes with a couple rocky moments in it, it's really great. And I'm really happy they dropped all 3 episodes at once, because it really feels like a complete package, complete prologue, you know, to the overarching story that we got.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so too. I rewatched the episodes, and the rockiness that you feel the first time is vanished on the second watch. It just is smooth watching it the second time. Before we got some we had I'm looking at the helmet and I'm dying. We have some Easter eggs to go into, but before we do that, I just want to start off commenting that, you know, I think John Cena has proven himself as a wonderfully comedic actor. I mean, he's done a number of comedies, and they're all he's surprisingly funny in those comedies, and he is nailing it here. I mean, what's the one thing we're about to do? I'm not crying. I'm doing face muscle exercises.
Yeah.
But he's absolutely perfect, and the look on his face after the sonic boom is classic. That's my favorite shot. But I don't know what you guys think, but I think John Cena is.
I wonder how much of his stuff is ad-libbed or like made up on the spot rather than scripted. Because a lot of it feels very natural and very much like made up on the spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. It also feels very James Gunnish a lot of the time.
Very much so.
I feel like this is the character he's going to become known for now.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, well, how many actors go out and wearing their outfit from their movie at press things or on shows? And he's done that at about everything. You know, when they were shooting the Suicide Squad movie, and now with the show, he's appearing everywhere in that outfit. I hope he's washing it, because it's got to be pretty stinky, if not.
Yeah. So, Chad, do you think they're doing vigilante justice?
Oh my God! I was a big vigilante fan.
Were you?
Of the comic? Yeah, Adrian Chase and all that. Yeah. And this is
not that vigilante.
This is not that vigilante at all. But I like what they're doing with him in the show.
I wonder what Mark Wolfman and George Perez think of this. I don't know.
Probably not. They're probably sitting back getting their fat check, going, "Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind."
I don't mind.
Every artist is allowed their own interpretation.
Yeah,
right? This is yours.
Just like this is my interpretation of the Peacemaker helmet.
Yeah.
It's honestly not too bad for a piece of aluminum foil.
No,
You
well,
say
I
that,
didn't know.
but
I didn't know where you were going
I
there for a
feel-
hot
I-
second. So
Yeah, yeah. I think my eyelids would disagree. Getting cut by the aluminum.
No sonic booms.
Well, you don't have to worry
Please.
about the aliens. They're not going to.
The only sonic booms I created from Taco Bell. I was just saying.
Oh my gosh.
When he flies out of his seat, ladies and gentlemen, you know what happened.
Well, anyway, let's go over some Easter eggs before we get into sort of detailed breakdown of the episodes and stuff. The very opening of the episode is similar to the opening of Suicide Squad, where the mop hits the floor. So
yeah,
we get
that's
sort
right.
of a correlation to that. Also, the colored lines on the floor are the same colors as his outfit, as a Peacemaker outfit. So I love when they can take the production design and make it a reflection of the environment for the characters. Also, if you go and you pay attention to the stuff he lays out on the bed, there's a note on the bed that has the listing of the names of the Suicide Squad. So evidently he did that to help remember. For instance, he says, Black Guy, Bloodsport.
Oh yeah.
And then he tries to spell out the shark guy's name, and he just stops. You can say like he gives up. So it's kind of funny that he put all the different people's names on there. Also, there's a postcard from Corto Maltese, which of course is the place that he was previously in Suicide Squad. Which actually, if you want to make an even more geeky reference, there's a cover of a magazine that's shown in the 1989 Batman that has, I think Vicky Vale actually went to Corto Maltese.
Quarter Maltese, yeah.
Anyway, there's also a note from Valentina with a phone number. And it's actually a reference to the real name of Negative Woman from the comics, who actually teamed up with Peacemaker and Vigilante in the past. So it will be interesting to see if we see a version of that sometime in this series. Also, when he goes into his dad's house, there's like an Alex Jones type parody show.
Yeah.
For the guy, and if you pay attention to what he's talking about, he talks about like it kind of foreshadows Project Firefly. He says there are extraterrestrial beings hiding inside humans. So it is kind of funny how for once the fake, what he's shouting is correct.
Yeah.
Which I kind of liked those little digs that James Gunn does in this series in regards to certain types of people in our society. See, just like Ratcatcher handed down, what he did to his daughter, we find out that Peacemaker's dad he basically handed down the Peacemaker thing to him. And also in the comics, he possessed a jetpack. And so when he's asking for a jetpack, that actually goes into, what he had in the comics. If you take close attention to the diary, the diary has the Wayne Foundation logo on it. But even deeper, that Wayne Foundation logo is the Christopher Nolan Batman logo.
Oh wow.
Not the Snyderverse. So I don't know what that means. Or maybe they just used the whatever logo they had.
They're just messing with us now.
That sounds like just an Easter egg to make people smile.
Probably. But now everybody's like, "Ooh, we're racing the Snyderverse." Let's see. We mentioned White Dragon, which we find out Peacemaker's father was, which is actually a racist supervillain from the comics. So that'll be interesting to see if we see more of that in regards to that. Also, I'm sure Doc's really excited. They mentioned Batmite.
Yes,
so Batmite is actually canon in this universe. And actually, when James Gunn was looking to create Suicide Squad, originally he was wanting Batmite to be part of that. So
they wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him.
They wouldn't let him.
Wow.
So this is a way for him to sort of incorporate it without incorporating it. Also, we get a shout out to Dollman.
Dollman! Oh my God.
So the Dollman is in this universe. Also, they mention I like the Weasel better than you. So they know the Weasel is still alive, which we found out in the mid-credit scene in Suicide Squad. Let's see. Also, if you pay attention to the couple that he goes into their apartment, the boyfriend when they're walking to the hallway and they're going to get bribed, the shirt he's wearing has the same logo as Rick Flag has with the fake rabbit logo, which was initially the logo was created in Suicide Squad as sort of a jab at Warner Brothers. Let's see. Also, there's a Star Wars reference in this. Do you know what that is?
Star Wars reference.
His house is 1138, which THX 1138 was George Lucas's first movie he made. And 1138 is always an Easter egg you'll find in a lot of the sometimes the DVDs. If you pressed 1138 it'd pop up some Easter egg on the DVD. And it's also sort of an Easter egg you find in some of the Star Wars stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. We had a Star Wars reference.
That's awesome.
Also, if you pay attention to Peacemaker's bedroom, there's a dartboard with Eclipso, the villain Eclipso on it.
Oh,
He's
wow.
been throwing darts at. So I don't know if that's just a Easter egg for Easter egg's sake, or if that's going to be reference to something. Also, we get for those people that are Gruesome Magazine friends, did you get the horror reference, Doc?
No, what was it?
Did you pay attention to the video store name?
No, what was it?
Yeah.
Video.
Oh, Henenlotter. Oh, no.
Frank Henenlotter.
Frank Henenlotter Video,
Oh.
who got his start working for Trauma, which, of course, James Gunn got his start working with Trauma. And if you pay attention, there's actually little movie covers and stuff throughout, like Young Guns and stuff throughout that the video store.
That's awesome.
Also, the cop, when she's in the prison, she makes a reference to both Arkham as well as Bellevue. So we get Arkham Asylum reference. We get Judo Master, of course. We get a version of that in this, which if you go to Twitter, you should follow DC Comics, because actually James Gunn and a few of the actors, they actually tweeted throughout watching all 3 episodes. And he mentioned that the reason he had the fight scenes between Judo Master and having a shorter person playing Judo Master is because he always wanted to see a little person like beating up bigger people.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, Judo Master was actually first seen in Charlton Comics, which was later bought by Marvel. Was
DC.
moved over.
DC.
I'm sorry, DC. Moved over to DC in the 80s when they bought them. And Peacemaker was first seen in, I think, Charlton Comics as well. So
Blue Beetle and who else?
but also
Question.
which Blue Beetle, some people may think may be connected to Project Butterfly. So I guess we'll see.
The Scarab. Yeah. The new
Also, if you look at the county cars, the cop cars, the county is Charlton County. So
cool.
They make a reference to the comic, and also the cab that drops him off at his dad's house is Commodore, which Commodore was the first villain in issue 1 of Peacemaker. So we get a reference to the first villain. Let's see. Also, there's a song, I think, in the end credits called "Pumped Up Kicks" that plays.
Mhm.
It's a version of that. That was actually recorded by the score composer John Murphy, who scored Suicide Squad, and it has the lead singer from Steel Panther singing that song.
Oh.
So that song, "Pumped Up Kicks." But anyway, that's a few of the Easter eggs that I noticed. But I'm sure maybe you guys noticed a few more, and I don't know.
No, that's pretty good. That's comprehensive, actually. But Chad, do you think we'll see Nightshade or Captain Atom? I don't think we'll see Captain Atom.
You probably won't see Captain Atom. Maybe Nightshade, or I'm hoping for the Question.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is if people who don't know that the Charlton characters were originally going to be the Watchmen, and they wouldn't let him do it, so he had to create different versions of them, including.
Dr. Manhattan was Captain Atom. Rorschach was the Question.
Was Owlman?
Night Owl was it Night Owl or Owlman? I think it was Night Owl.
It might be Night Owl. I don't know.
But they made their own versions of the Charlton characters for the Watchmen.
Yep. All right. So Judo Master I loved his introduction. He was
so cool.
fantastic.
Well, supposedly James Gunn expanded his part because he loved working with him so much, and so they expanded his part in the series. So
and Munn, he got his part because he's in Guardians and did a great job, right? So
Yep.
Mhm.
so that's awesome. So we're going to look forward to seeing him in that. All right, how do we want to go about this? There's 3 episodes, almost 3 hours worth of content. We can kind of go anywhere we want with this. I guess I'll start by throwing out the sonic boom was insane and totally unexpected and gory as hell. Yeah.
It was expected because of who was creating the series.
Okay. I was
And
surprised.
after watching Suicide Squad, it was expected. Let's put it that way.
I think this is a lot raunchier than Suicide Squad.
Big time, yeah.
Well, maybe because it's right to streaming instead of in theaters.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was one hell of an effect.
It was.
I like when one of the cops came up and they picks this
Yeah,
thing
no,
up. That's
what is
a
this?
face. It's a face. Put it down. It's a face. Put it
Well,
down.
you know, I think that's what I love about this series is because they just have fun with these sort of like icky or weird or I mean, there's even a joke involving Peacemaker's father saying like a kind of a racist thing to the cop, and then she tries to say something back and it doesn't work.
Right.
And then they're commenting, "Oh, you should have said this instead." So there's even moments that normally you feel kind of uncomfortable about, but there's the humor aspect of it
Mhm.
as well. And I think that's what James Gunn, he can sort of like, there's a lot of people that can't work in that space. They can't create things. And maybe that's what making some people uncomfortable with certain segments of it, because it doesn't shy away from, you know, racist, sexist, homophobic. I mean, there's all kinds of, but there's characters like that in the world and you have to deal with it. You can't sugarcoat it. And I think that's what I like about it. You can still have those characters and you can still enjoy what you're watching, even if there's characters that you just want to punch them in their horrible faces. So
Yeah.
I mean, those characters make the best villains, though.
well,
Yeah,
they do,
yeah.
they do. But I mean, it's But then you also have those sort of gray areas of certain characters because you have like, what is it? A vigilante who's just he's just as goofy as Peacemaker is in real life, and he puts a suit on. He's trying to be all Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, sort of, and but at the same time, he's kind of an idiot. Like when
He's hiding behind a garbage pit can.
yeah, like
Chest
we see you.
I love the 5-minute conversation Vigilante and Peacemaker had on whether or not Vigilante had his junk out.
I know. Just take a look. Take a look.
It's not out. It's like it makes you feel like they've gone through this before at some point.
Right.
Oh,
And,
I tell you, one of the funniest parts is in episode 3 where the guy pulls his mask off and he's like, and he does this
yeah.
moving his eyes and his face, and it's such physical humor that's so freaking hilarious that he thinks, "Oh, they'll never be able to figure out my facial recognition if I keep moving my face muscles all this way." And it's like so ridiculous.
It was so
but it's like, oh my god! I mean, I feel like only James Gunn could come up with something like that.
But in the middle of it all, we get character growth with Peacemaker and Chris Smith, right? So he's starting to realize, you know, what his father has given him, not the hero part, but the racism and the sexism and all that. It's kind of, and he's coming to terms with it. And even when he confronts his dad, who always makes him feel small, which is sad. But he's starting to realize that that's not the person he wants to be, even to the point where he can't do the shot in episode 3, and Vigilante steps in and does it. I really appreciate that. Even the crying scene. He goes, "I'm not crying. I'm doing facial motion."
I hope they keep his father. You know, in the comics, he was always talking to his father's ghost.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so but I like that. I like it that Robert Patrick, his father, is still alive and still able to be there in a live action sense rather than him talking to a ghost.
Yeah. And he's one of the villains. Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Because his father's not the villain in the comics, right? He's not that guy.
No.
He's somebody else, right?
His father was just that guy in his head going, "You're worthless and weak," and you're not worth a damn, and this and that. So I'm glad they have him doing it live. I think that seeing those characters do that face to face in the flesh is a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah, and
to watch.
And his facial expressions are absolutely brilliant. Like when he immediately falls in love with Harcourt when she beats up those guys.
Yeah.
That guy, you can just see it. Doing a great job, and I don't know. I think all the cast is great, and of course we didn't mention this in the Easter eggs, but we get a DCEU character makes a special appearance, a cameo in the first episode, right? Nobody gonna jump on that?
Oh. Well, I thought that was the obvious Easter egg.
Yeah. No, it is obvious, but the important thing is that Waller is one of the characters, which I can't remember her name all of a sudden, but is Waller's daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get the character's name because I haven't gotten used to her name yet. Leota, right?
Was that it, Leota?
Leota, played by Danielle Brooks from Orange Is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fantastic. Now, Freddie Stromo replaced the original actor 5 episodes in, so they reshot all his scenes.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
I wonder why it didn't work out with the original actor.
He couldn't. He wasn't comfortable with the character, with the way they were taking him, or something like that. I heard a couple different things, but
that makes me wonder how crazy this series is gonna get going forward.
5 episodes in, that's a lot of money to reshoot all those scenes.
Yeah.
Wow.
but he wouldn't. I mean, what scenes did they have to? I mean, because you notice like some of the scenes he's like totally not there, right? Like they cut to him like with the dumpster scene.
Yeah.
And then they had to reshoot or did they? I guess they would have had to reshoot the scene where he shows up at the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, but if somebody's in, I guess if somebody's in costume, it won't really matter.
Listen.
Because you can have any. I mean, they could dub somebody who's in costume, and I could tell that it felt like a lot of the costume stuff was dubbed. So,
okay. Let's talk about the little object that the chick has, the one that
the spaceship.
The spaceship, yeah, it turns into a spaceship. That's the one thing is that it is a spaceship, right? That's what I saw. It's a spaceship, and 2. Is this related to the scarabs that Blue Beetle? Do you think, Chad?
I thought it was something the butterflies maybe flew around in or came to Earth in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But do you think there's any relationship to the scarabs
for the Blue Beetle?
For the Blue Beetle,
I don't know. They don't really give us any indication yet, but that would be super cool.
We're speculating, by the way, at this point. We don't know, but it just seems a little bit of a quinky dink.
It could be a good connector to that if they wanted to do that,
because they are making that. They are, but they're not doing the Blue Beetle Chad and I like. They're doing the Blue Beetle that they have now, right?
I've not even read those at all, but
I'd rather have Blue and the Gold, right? Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. But he died. Is he back? I think he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah.
No comic character's ever dead.
No.
Or they're just recreated.
Yeah, except Gwen Stacy and Bucky. Oh, wait a minute. Came back. Who's the big bad in this, Chad? Who do you think? Yeah, I mean, is it going to be his dad, or is there somebody else waiting?
I want to say it's his dad, but at the same time, I think he's going to be a recurring character if there's a season 2, and I think he's just going to be there as a thorn in his side, more or less. But I don't know. I've been thinking about that, and they're trying to get you to think it's the butterflies, but I feel like there's something else going on too that we haven't seen yet, as far as the main villain goes.
Although with that last little thing, episode 3, there's like I didn't realize there was that many of the butterflies out there.
Mhm.
And so that, I mean, it's almost like an invasion type thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to be able to fight something like
The
that.
queen butterfly.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess that could be the case.
Yeah, there's been a number of invasions in DC, including one called
Invasion.
Invasion.
Well, but this is, I don't think they'd expect that in this low budget television
no.
show.
It doesn't feel very low budget.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
It does to me. You can if you compare it to Suicide Squad, the some of the camera stuff, you can definitely tell that it's budget wise it is, but I mean they still were able to tell a good story, and luckily it's one of those things where you can tell you don't necessarily have to have an action scene every 5 seconds, like some action movies do. But I could tell that there's a little bit of dip in what they're able to do on this series, and that's fine. But I probably only see that because I'm a filmmaker and I kind of notice those things.
Oh.
But I'm glad that you guys don't notice it.
I thought it looked great. Of course I was laughing so hard. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up, and because I think we're just gonna gush on it. We're just gonna gush over and over and over again. So
I just got one more.
No, please.
Scene,
yes.
One more scene. While the cops have the building surrounded, and they're trying to figure out what happened here, he's upstairs collecting panties, record albums.
He smells them too.
Just the most non-essential things, and I just was laughing my ass off at that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they keep using it too, like Cinderella. The band Cinderella comes up in this conversation later.
I'm surprised those records aren't broken.
I know.
How many times he had to throw it down there? The whole time I'm like, those records are broken.
Yeah, they're not going to. They're scratched up. But I don't know. Maybe.
Plot armor.
Yeah.
Plot armor. Yes.
Or maybe they're like full 180-gram reissues.
Although maybe I was
original.
reading too much into it, but when he hooks up with the girl and he's looking through her records, at first I thought, is this going to be one of those cases where this girl used to be a guy in one of these bands? And and I don't know why I was reading too much into that.
Maybe you should take that helmet off now.
No. She had it all business on the front, party in the rear. That's kind of funny. She had that.
Although, if you pay
mullet.
attention, when he's trying to hit on Harcourt in the bar, he says he's like, I haven't had sex with anybody in a while. Well, I haven't had sex with a woman in a while.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, he was in prison. I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts. Our score 1 to 5, and you can pick one favorite scene, or you can pick up to 3, one from each episode if you like. SLATTMAN, you are up first.
Okay, I'm setting the scene. Recommendation? highly recommended, especially if you liked James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I think this is a perfect companion piece to that movie, and I think it's a very strong start to what is easily becoming the best DC things put on screen in a very long time, in my opinion, and it's all James Gunn's fault. So yay, keep James Gunn. Make him do more. Make him do good. I absolutely loved it. Like I said, I thought episode 2 was kind of had a couple hiccups in it, and just a couple scene like the action scene with blowing shit up didn't really work for me. I don't know why. I thought it was
really?
Yeah, I thought it was a little too over the top and went on for probably a couple minutes too long for my taste. But everything else is very good, very solid, and really ramps up. And if you liked, again, I'm going to say this, if you liked The Suicide Squad, if you liked the humor in it, if you liked the storytelling, if you liked how everything was put in front of you, this is really worth your time. And if you haven't watched The Suicide Squad, please watch that before this because there's a lot of callbacks for it, even though they do a previously on,
Yeah.
which I thought was hilarious that they did that for a movie. But you know, it it really helps knowing everything that Peacemaker went through in that movie to kind of get a better understanding of what he's going through now. Um, and it just works. It just works. It's really good. And Eagly is best CGI animal character.
Is he all CGI or is he a practical sometimes?
He's all CGI.
Okay, because it really
It
works.
doesn't look all CGI, but it
No,
is all
it looks
CGI.
great.
Oh,
There's-
when he sticks his head out the
His
window like
tongue.
a dog and his
Oh
tongue
my
comes
gosh.
out,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
cute and amazing at the same time.
Yeah. So my score, I'm gonna give each episode an individual score. Episode 1, 4.25. Episode 2 was a 4, but episode 3 jumps all the way up to a 4.75.
Nice. I like
Yeah. Very solid start. And I loved the end of
that. Yeah.
Project Butterfly. My favorite scene. Okay, so I'm gonna set the stage for all of us. All right, so I'm gonna give you a favorite scene, and then, or I guess mine's kind of a group of scenes, but you'll understand that. And then my favorite laugh out loud funny moment.
Oh, perfect. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So my favorite group of scenes in the first 3 episodes is anytime Eagly is on screen.
Nice. I do like
When he's hugging John Cena, when he's got his head out the window, when he's flying around, he brings back the freaking, what was it, a
the
possum?
possum. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
brings back the possum.
Like a
when
cat
he-
would bring back a
when-
bird. Yeah.
when he flies into the car and he's just so happy to be in the car
Mhm.
with everybody. I love it.
Yeah.
I love everybody's when he's I really liked
Eagle
Eagly.
in your car.
Yeah. When
Um,
he's sitting there and he's like in the back of seat just
Well, there's also an Easter egg with Eagly, right? There's who's voicing Eagly.
D. Bradley Baker. I
And
don't know how he's
why do we know D. Bradley Baker?
because he voices like 50 billion clones in Star Wars.
We've talked about him for
Yeah.
a couple of years now. So.
Yeah, doing another fantastic job doing squawks and squeaks, and I don't know. I fully expect at one point during the series, John Cena's Peacemaker is going to have some hallucinogenic moment where he starts talking to Eagly, and Eagly starts talking back.
Oh, please, please.
I fully expect that since
Oh,
they
that would
got
be
a
great.
an actual like good, well-known voice actor to do the squawks and squeaks.
Nice.
nice. And then my favorite laugh out loud funny moment is when he's talking like when they're talking about sex, and it's like, yeah, Batman, fuck whoever, whatever. Aquaman, fucks guys, that's fine. Fucks girls, I don't care. Fucks fucks fix that. A fish, that's a step too far.
Yeah.
That aquarium over down there, he pays that person to have him sneak him in through the back so he can have his time. That's, yeah. I died
Oh, man.
laughing.
And the guy says, "I don't believe it."
I died laughing.
I did like that. Eagly is not in the comics, right, Chad?
No, I don't think so.
I'm not aware of Eagly, or Daughterly or Doggy. What? That's the joke. What was your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene and favorite laugh out loud moment?
My final thoughts are this is you can tell James Gunn loves superheroes, but at the same time he loves deconstructing superheroes, and this is just a masterful job of that here. This show is so funny and so in your face, and it doesn't care. This show just doesn't care, and I love that about it. And it's very, very well written. So yeah, you need to really watch this. Favorite scene. Well, I'm gonna give it overall 4.75.
Okay.
For all 3. But my favorite scene, the one I was laughing at so much, was his whole escape from the apartment complex, and he's trying to tie up the couple, and they're arguing, and she's flirting with Peacemaker, and he's like considering that, you know, and then it ended up happening, and him and Vigilante ended up sleeping with the girl. All that whole thing just had me rolling, laughing of him trying to get out of that building while the cops are on all sides. It was just very well written. And I loved it. I love the whole series so far. I hope it keeps this level of quality.
Yeah, it's gonna be. He set the bar high with the third episode. I think so. Mm-hmm. I think so. All right. Did you have a laugh out loud moment? That when he's trying to tie, he goes, "Get me some rope. I'm gonna need some rope," and she's like, "Will twine do?" And he's like, you know, I was laughing that whole time. So yeah, that's my favorite laugh out loud. That's your favorite scene and your favorite laugh out.
Yeah.
Perfect. Christopher G. Moore, sir, helmet and all. What is your final thoughts, your score, your favorite scene, and your laugh out loud moment?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first 3 episodes so far. I'm really looking forward to what happens next. I think there's just so many sort of fun, shocking moments, so many hilarious moments, and also some a little bit heartfelt moments. I think you're starting to see sort of like this elements of the Peacemaker. You know, he does have a heart hidden under that shiny helmet, and so it'll be interesting to see how he evolves, you know, as a person throughout the season, and just all these other wacky characters, all kinds of crazy. I mean, it does. I think by the third one, it does feel like a 60s Batman where they're in this underground cave and stuff like that. I think that's when the budgetary constraints kind of like are showing. But yeah, I really loved, I mean, I've always been a big fan of James Gunn in general. I think he's one of the more interesting screenwriters out there. He writes such fun dialogue, and there's always these really interesting things that he puts into the screenplay. You know, whether it be like, you know, he supposedly had a similar problem with the Bernstein Bears, you know, where he thought it was one way and another. So he puts that in the dialogue, or just little witty repartee between people, or just, you know, sucking the piss out of certain things that would normally be like, oh, I'm uncomfortable because this person said this racist thing or that kind of thing. But then he throws a joke on top of it. So yeah, I mean, he really is able to do stuff with the writing in this series and the characters that a lot of filmmakers wouldn't be able to do or feel comfortable in doing. And I think I'm glad that they've given this playground to be able to do this, because I think on the Marvel end, I don't think, other than Deadpool, I don't think we could ever see anything.
That's right.
This level of brashness, shocking elements, you know, the level of language and you know, all kinds of crazy shit that I'm sure will probably shock us even more. I mean, literally there was moments like, oh my God, did I just see that? Like when they show that picture of the genitalia on the iPad, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know they could show this on television.
Not only that, but they closed up.
Oh my God,
I was like, whoa, this is it's like HBO's suddenly become heavy Skinemax. So yeah, I really loved it. If I were to give a rating for each of the individual episodes, I'll say the first episode was like a 4.5 for me. I think because I think with the introduction of Waller's daughter, that felt very new characterish, you know, and it kind of showed. Although I did like the elements that she's talking about Octopussy, and then later on we have a scene where he's getting attacked by a woman, so we almost get a James Bond moment with the Peacemaker character. But I don't know, something about the introduction felt very like, okay, this is a new character, this is what you need to know, and I think once we get to know these characters, that's when it goes full tilt fun. So I mean, I say 2 and 3 or 5s to me. I really enjoyed it once we got to see these characters and see all these crazy scenarios, and just like, and also just how he has fun with just running bits in the ground, like when he's like falling from thing to thing, you know, behind that building.
Oh,
And
man.
I mean, or just seeing these crazy scenarios that Johnny Cena allows himself to be seen. The whole scene where he's running around his underwear
It's
outside.
tidy whities, yes.
It was like 17 degrees there. It was it was like British Columbia or whatever. So he's literally freezing his ass off. We get to see his ass a few times too. But anyway, I'll say
Why?
I want to.
I wasn't that interested in that.
You got
part
so
of it.
awkward then. Why?
Well, no. I was just like, I just noticed it. I noticed like when we first meet him, and there's like this behind shot, and he's just, you can see his ass just hanging out of the this thing at the hospital, and they just showed it. I was like, okay. Because they're people are scared to show, I guess, male nudity in any kind of form. So it's kind of nice that he's just like okay with it, or okay to be having weird sexual scenarios or whatever. As for, I'm going to point out favorite segments of each episode. I'll say the first episode when he does he's lip syncing using a big ass dildo.
Yeah.
Big ass vibrator,
yeah.
and he's singing along in his what tidy whities. I mean, I don't know. I think most series wouldn't really have those kind of moments where it just, you know, just have those crazy
Let it
moments.
all hang out there like
yeah, just so much fun. The second episode, which if you check out my Instagram, there's a moment. The one laugh out loud, major laugh out loud, is when he comes back after a first episode and he's like, "Can I get an STD from that?
Yeah.
From a butterfly? Does that make me a dick vampire? Am I a dick vampire?" I was laughing for I had to stop the movie. I was laughing for 5 minutes after that. And just, I don't know, just the way his delivery of the line where he's being serious, it just made me laugh so hard. And then the third one, I'm sorry, when Vigilante is doing the facial, he's doing like moving his face.
Yeah.
All kinds of ways. It's such a goofy thing that you could see Jim Carrey doing that, but I don't know. Just for this character to be like so willing to shoot a whole family,
Yeah.
you know, 1 minute, and the next minute he's like,
Yeah. Vigilante was supposed to be DC's answer to the Punisher.
It was.
Well, yeah,
And he's far from that.
No, he's far from it. Although if you go and look at the Twitter feed about them talking about it, the scene where the guy's cutting his feet, all they did was rub blood on it. There's no gore in that.
Yeah.
But the editor had a problem editing that scene because it looks too bloody for him. It was too violent.
The idea
editing
behind it
together. I guess once you add sound effects and stuff, it sells it. But that they literally just threw blood on the foot. There's no gore involved. But yeah, those are the three big moments for each one that really I enjoyed. Although there's probably a lot of other moments that I could point out, but those are the ones that really stood out.
I love it that I want to say big kudos to Warner Brothers and them for letting James Gunn just cut loose like this. I'd love to see, this will never happen, but I'd love to see this kind of take on Guardians.
Oh,
you know,
they won't take it this
but
far.
Disney won't allow that, I'm sure. But I'd still like to see it.
They might let him do it with Deadpool if he got a chance to do it with Deadpool. They might. That's the only character I can see them doing it, or Modok or something like that. Anyway, I agree with you guys. I love this. It's 4.75 across the board. This is by far a character that I have no interest in, you know, from the onset, but with John Cena in it and the approach they had, in both the movie, The Suicide Squad, and here, especially here in the show, I think they've elevated that character.
Mm-hmm.
That might not be the right word, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, sure.
Not elevated, but he's, they're actually making it a well-rounded, flawed, funny character. And he's just, just him realizing, that he thought that Sweet Cheeks was, actually talking about cheeks, but Sugar Tits that's too far. It's just so funny. It's just a lot of great stuff. John Cena is quickly becoming a huge fan of him, and I've been enjoying some of his other work too. Some of these screwball comedies he's doing. And then he was probably the best thing in Fast 9, which was not a good movie. But his sense of humor and his timing is perfect, and his expressions. The facial expression was killing me. My favorite facial expression is after he blows up, the sonic boom and blows the girl up, and he just does,
Yeah. Did I do that?
Yeah, exactly. Did I do that? My favorite scene is the sonic boom. I was expecting something. Obviously, he was going to defeat her, but I didn't think it was going to be that. It was just absolutely fantastic. I love that. And then, the funniest scene might be the coming in, and I think we mentioned it earlier, where Vigilante comes in through the window, or is at the window, and they have the whole put your dick away conversation. It's just hilarious. I've never been a fan of Vigilante either, but this is not the Vigilante I would think they would ever do. But it's so hilarious. But they're so good together. And then Judo Master in the third episode is the best thing ever. And to be honest, and I think we're all agreed that really the best thing about this is the intro. The intro is absolutely brilliant. So well done, and
almost as good as the Batusi.
Oh, you aren't kidding.
I almost picked my favorite scene in the third episode is when he's flicking the flaming Cheetos on him, using those as a weapon, which evidently was a reference to James Gunn, because he was eating so many flaming Cheetos while he was filming it that he got sick from eating too many. But I just love that he's able to use that as a weapon.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And the sound effect every time it would hit
and
his face, it was just awesome.
To me, that's the perfect product placement right there.
And then John Cena's reaction to it was just perfect. It was just like, oh my God, why?
Well, and evidently that scene between him and Judo Master, John Cena kept cracking up. James Gunn said that was one of the scenes that John Cena cracked up the most, was him dealing with the actor who played Judo Master. So
I hope the audience doesn't get the wrong idea that we like this show.
No. I don't know. It's such a mystery. All right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we definitely want to hear your opinion. Dislike the show. We want to hear it, of course, down below. Of course, we also hope you enjoyed our review. And if you did, there's many others out there. We cover the Disney stuff, and we cover all kinds of good stuff. So look for those reviews. If you want to help us out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with a friend. They'll do wonders. We'll be so honored. And then, of course, leave your comments down below. Christopher, Slatman, Chad, thank you for joining me. This was so much fun. So much fun.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
So much fun. To steal a move from the intro.
Let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.